Hi folks, Stratman from pitware.com here, lesson number 10. Just a bit of an idea of how I approach the start of trading for the day. First thing is you need to know when my day starts. Well, currently we're in the New York session, so I usually trade pretty much the Asian session. So when New York session finishes, which is in about an hour and a half's time, all these values in the today column will go back to zero, and these values will be moved over into the yesterday column. So I'm looking at the last part of the New York session, just getting an idea of what's really happened over the whole previous session. So it's actually not a bad time to be kind of doing a review of the market. Quite fortunate where I live in the world, because I'm able to see just the last part of a trading day, which is the end of New York, and getting a good understanding of what's really gone on during the day, ready to set up for the new day. A lot of you will possibly be just getting into trading around the beginning of London, and you'll be doing a review of the previous day and also what's happened during the Asian session. So anyway, depending on where you are in the world, you'll decide how you're going to approach your trading day. But for me, I'm looking at my market area here on the dashboard, seeing what's going on. We'll come back to that in a sec. First thing I really need to do is just see what might have been going on news-wise in the market. So I'll go over to forexfactory.com here, and I'll look at the news. Now, during my night, what have we had? Well, we've had the ADP, which is the non-farm employment change. Now, this is quite significant news out of the States. It's kind of like right up there in terms of being able to move the market. Now, one thing that I note here is that the forecast was for minus 31k, and look, we've got minus 22k, so the actual was way off from what the forecast was. So that is a significant thing. We had that earlier in the week with the Aussie. They didn't change the interest rate. It was supposed to go up by 0.25%, and it didn't. That moved the market quite significantly, and what we'll probably find is that around the 2:15 a.m. On my charts, we'll probably see some significant movement. That's what I can see straight off. The other thing that came out was the non-manufacturing PMI. Cool thing is that you can find out a little bit of information by clicking on these buttons here, and it tells you what these things are and when the next release is, and so on, and why traders care about this, and so on. So it's actually really good info. I don't, and you can watch the history here, and so on. So it's all really useful information, this new stuff. Get into it. So the next part is to just look on and see what's coming up for the day. We've had all these things here. We've got something around 6 a.m. this morning. Certain person speaking. For me, I'm in New Zealand, so I'm interested in the unemployment rate and so on. So there's a bit of New Zealand and Australian news all the way up until 10 p.m. tonight. Now, I finish my day typically 10:30 p.m. New Zealand time, which is kind of probably an hour or so into the London Open. So, you know, I might actually call my day a little bit short, or just before the 10 o'clock. I don't want to be caught doing some trading. It's not worth me trading after here. So I'm probably now constructing my day and going, well, probably I might finish trading about 9:30 tonight. It's just not worth me trading into this news area here. So I've laid out my day. I know the times that I've got to be careful of. These are big times, around 10:45, which is in about an hour and a quarter's time for me. Got to watch that. Next news about 1:30. Right, so we've got a heads up on that. Then what I'll do is I'll go and have a look at just an overview of the charts. What I've got here is just a layout of some mini charts, and so I'm looking at my day for the Euro USD, just looking at what happened with the patterns. I've got a bounce off over the days here, bounce there off this moving average, going down. What are we doing? Well, we're possibly breaking the trend here and moving upwards maybe, or maybe this is a bearish flag. So I've got that kind of detailed. If I go down to my H4, I'm going to see see this area here in more detail. And so what I see here on the H4 is, yeah, I can see the move down. Okay, so we're looking at a down move on the H4. What's happening on the H1? Well, we get this in more detail. So I'm seeing upwards move. We've broken through this moving average. We retested. We came down, and hello, we've got a what we call a pin bar here. Price is struggling at this point on the H1 to break through here. Although it's really trying hard to do it, it may actually get through there. So this is on the hourly, so I can guarantee that the large move in here will be pretty much due to the ADP announcement. Looking down to my M15, I mean, it's just echoing what's happening on the H1, and then I go down to my M5. So of significant interest to me is really that the euro is on its way down, downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. This here, it's trying to break low. We're either going to get a reversal right here or break low. It sounds ridiculous to say that. It's either going to go up or down. Yeah, that's true. But what we've got to do is try and figure out what the highest probability is, up or down. Look at the pound. Same kind of story. It's been downtrend. We've had a couple of days ago kind of a pin bar occurring, so that's usually signifying an uptrend is possibly due. We're looking at the H4, pin bar on the H4, and it did move upwards. Got a pin bar on the top here. We've got to move down. Where's this going now? Hard to tell. H1, right? So we're doing that for each of the currencies of interest. The euro's been traveling down on the daily. Looks like it's about to turn on the daily. Might turn into a bearish flag. Big thing here for me is that yes, that turn here is happening on the H4 right on a moving average. So maybe this is a good point. We've got a pin bar formed here after this trend up. So maybe this is a good opportunity to go short. So at the moment I'm thinking, yeah, Asian session coming up. Euro JPY is looking really good for a short just here. We've got that happening kind of here. Let's just see. We'll just watch that. I'm not going to jump into a trade just yet. It's the end of the New York session. I'm going to wait a little bit. Look at my moving average on the euro yen, and I can see we've dropped through, pulled back, and looks like going short. So just I'm going to leave that a little while. Just I've got that in my mind, what's going on. The Aussie, what's happening with that? Same kind of idea. I'm just looking at the overall trend. We've got a significant thing happening here, which is we've had a move down. We've got what I'm looking at here is a 1 and a 2 and a 3 forming here. If price continues up here, I consider that as a break in the downtrend to an uptrend. So potential to get into a trade here. We can see that more pronounced here. So this was the 1, the 2 and the 3. So a couple of good points of interest. We've got the euro going down. We've got the looking like it's going to try and break downwards. We've got the euro yen looking like a downward move as a bounce off that H4. And on my Aussie, I'm looking at possibly a 1, 2, 3 pattern going high. So and because the euro and the Aussie do similar things, it's a bit of a worry to me because I'm thinking down over here, but on the Aussie I'm thinking possibly up. So I like those to be kind of in agreement slightly, because it's helpful if they're in agreement, because then I feel a bit safer with my trade. Okay, so that's the first bit, looking at the news for the day, looking at the charts, getting a heads up on what's happened. Okay, so now I'll move over and start looking at the individual charts for each currency. I can see that what all the moves have been for the day on the euro. We did significantly more than we normally get for the day, and I could see each session most of the moving happened during the ADP time, which was during the London US time. And right now I'm looking at, well, prices hit this boundary here on the H4 previous candle, and it's broken through that, and it's testing back at the moving average coming down. So good opportunity for a short here, but we're going into the Asian session, so I'm just gonna hang fire. It looks like that's where things are going to go, but let's just watch. So we do exactly the same thing on all all the different charts, just checking where everything's at. So anyway, I hope that's been useful to you, and we will catch you on the next lesson.